Hello, I'm Czardus. Grab some coffee and relax as we build in Cities Skylines 2. Today we start a new project building the city of Riverwoods, but first be sure to check out Apex Gaming via the link in the description below for some amazing custom gaming PCs. Now, before we get building, I want to tell some tales about the early history of Riverwoods. In the year 1792, amidst the untouched beauty of what we now know as the Pacific Northwest, a group of explorers led by the intrepid Captain Jonathan Baker set foot on the banks of the winding river, marking the dawn of Riverwoods. Captain Baker, a man ahead of his time, saw not just the wilderness but a flourishing community. His journals, filled with eloquent descriptions of the land's richness, laid the first stones of Riverwood's foundation. Years passed, and with them new souls ventured into these lands. Among them was Reverend Thomas Caldwell, whose dreams of spiritual conquest faced the harsh realities of isolation and the resilience of the indigenous peoples. Fast forward through Caldwell's fervent yet futile efforts, his health deteriorating amidst the cold embrace of winters and the indifference of those he sought to convert. His mission crumbles, a poignant reminder of the perils of inflexibility. Settlers and indigenous peoples come together, timber being hewn and nails driven to erect the first trading post near the vibrant, winding river, a testament to cooperation and shared aspirations. In this confluence of cultures, figures like the sagacious Chief Tallpine and the astute Elijah Cooper emerge, bridging worlds with trade and understanding. Alongside them, the spirited Sophie Laurent, a trapper whose tales weave through the fabric of our nascent town. The bustling life at the trading post sets the stage for families like the Dawsons, with Henry Dawson's forge sparking in the heart of Riverwoods, symbolizing the town's burgeoning spirit. A young, wide-eyed Jim Harrington steps into Riverwoods, his dreams of gold quickly dissolving into a stark reality of hard work and true wealth, not in gold, but in the timber-rich lands and the community's boundless potential. Amidst the town's growth, a small schoolhouse rises, with Miss Elizabeth Moore at its helm, her dedication to education and the future of Riverwood's children illuminating the town's commitment to progress and unity. In 1860, the entire community gathered in a grand celebration of Riverwood's official recognition as a township. The air is filled with the sounds of speeches, laughter, and music, a mosaic of settler and indigenous performances painting the picture of a diverse and united community. Facing the daring dreams of explorers to the steadfast resolve of its settlers, Riverwood stands as a beacon of hope, diversity, and prosperity. A township not just recognized by law, but etched in the hearts of all who call it home. And so, we have a goal today of getting some basics of the city in place, which would have been present by the 1860s. So, with that in mind, going to the 1860s, what I've done, okay, so we've got the River Delta map that is from the base game, and I've taken out all the roads. So one of the first things we're going to need to do is get a trail going, and we have to decide where the trading post is going to be and the initial settlement, which I think, okay, if this is Winding River coming down this way, and it comes this way, and say it goes out into the Cascades mountain range, which is in the distance there, then a lot of the trading will be taking place on the river. And we're going to take this road out, and I'm saving these buildings. We're going to use them for other stuff. But this river, I think our settlement will be here right before it splits heading out and into the ocean. So like this would be the main part of that navigable area, and then this is just another path. But for like any defense purposes or things like that, you'd want it based here so that there wouldn't be a chance of people coming around. And like if we put it up here or something, we'd be on an island, which would be, would be more defensible. But on the other hand, it wouldn't be accessible to the trails as easily. So I think what we'll do is we'll put it here, and we'll have to get a trail going out from there. So the first thing we're going to do is get a gravel road, and this, because we are limited on our starting funds, we're going to want to go to here. It is the closest edge of the map where we can get an external connection. I think realistically there would be a trail going up along the river too, but for now we're just going to focus on this here. And what we'll do, again, I think, see, I lowered here. This is where I wanted. I smoothed out a little bit here. So the trading post is going to go in here. And let's go ahead and we'll move some of these buildings over there. We'll get a mill. The old mill ruins. And where was that spot? I think it's over here, but let's go ahead and get that terrain over there. Move it one more time. And this is going to be our settlement. So what we want, is not going to let me put it in the water, which is the really annoying part of this building, to be honest, because the mill would be going out into the water. But of course, you can see the mill there, and this can't get out in there. Oh, you know what we could do? I bet I could do this. What we can do is we can come in here and we can make this level like this real quick and get the water out. Then we are going to bring it down just a little bit there. We're going to shift this. Let's move it real quick. Then we're going to level again. Make sure that's at that level. Then we're going to move this down like that, and then we should be able to get the water back in here. And that, I assume, is going to flood that building a little bit. And hopefully, I mean, at the very least, it should be much closer to the water level. Yeah, I mean, now it might be too low, but in the meantime, let's go and get those other buildings real quick. Where did they go? There they are. So we've got a few barns here that, oh, we can't relocate those? Bummer. That's a bummer. Okay, we're just going to take them out. I mean, I could switch to the dev tool, or I don't think I'm actually using anarchy, so I can't quite grab and move those. But, yeah, anyway. See how this turns out. It's a little too low. So, yeah. We are going to pause and relocate, and I'll do this again. I think I did it. I think I got this so that we've got our old mill ruin here, and that should work. That'll make it look kind of nice, and we can probably keep that forever. But what I do want to do is soften this a little bit more. So, like, this is the landing point for our trading post. And what we want to do then is we'll pause the game so we're not losing money while we're doing stuff here, but we're going to bring this trail right along here. And what I want is I want to make sure that we are kind of at a good terrain level. And actually, I think what we'll do is we'll come along and be this side of the forest, and we're going to avoid the power lines and pretend that they don't exist, because of course they would not be here in 1860. But yeah, they're necessary for the game. And in fact, what we can do is in a minute I can take them and put them underground. I guess that would probably be the best way of doing that. So we can bring this out now. And unfortunately, we've got another thing here. I think I'm a little tempted to get some more water down there. But I think that'll just be for overflow. So one thing we'll need to do is probably come up over this way. So we'll stay along the river a little bit longer then. Let's go ahead and get that power line underground. I'll do that now. Okay, so I mean that cost like 15,000. But I think it'll be worth it. So now this can come along and, like I said, stay along the river-ish. Because over here, we can get a very small little bridge. So what we're going to do is lower that elevation step. Just come up a tiny bit. And actually we need to come up a little bit more than that. Yeah, I guess that'll work. I mean, I'd prefer it to be, I guess we could just do a covered bridge here. Yeah, all right. No, we're gonna come in and I want covered bridge right here. Elevation too low. Okay, how about right here? There we go. Very basic. And then that can come out. We're gonna bring that back down, and this will come in and just kind of curve a little bit. There we go. That'll get over that little creek bed. And then this can curve, and now we want to stay on this side of the forest. And this can pretty much go straight now. Okay, we have our external road connection, and at some point we're going to get a ship. Now, I think it will be too early for this episode to do that, but what we can do is we can get some of the initial roads in here and things like that. So then I think by about 1860, they would be kind of plotting out an actual city in here. And of course, we're right by a forest, which is not ideal, but it is kind of where they would have settled because I think it would have had plenty of wood for them. So we're going to go ahead and cut down some of the wood here. So we'll come in and do multiple and make sure that snapping is off so we can right click and remove a bunch of trees at once. And then we can get kind of a grid layout in here. And I think eventually we're going to have like something built out here, which by the way, I did remove some islands from this area just to make it feel a little bit more realistic. I'm not a huge fan of that bay type thing, but we're gonna keep it the way it is. I think what we'll do is we'll have a straight road here, although the original thing would have come in here. We don't have any buildings that we can use there, so what I want to do is we're going to do a district, which we can't really do. We do have surface things that we could place here, and maybe what we'll do is we'll just put some like gravel here. Rocky sand, that might work. Yeah, here, let's just put sand in here. So what I'm doing is I'm marking. That was the original trading site. So we're going to leave that the way it is, and we're going to bring a road along here. So like maybe this was the original trail, where like eventually they made this trail, and then this comes down that way. I always find that the initial road layout is always interesting, trying to like just get everything to be like a historic way that they may have set things up. And then we'll bring a road on this side of the trading post, and maybe another one, bring this out over on this side, and then another road down there. Yeah, okay, so then what we want is, I want another road coming out this way, and we're going to figure out how big the grid should be at this point. So to figure out how far I want, I looked at a map just now to see I want about 200 feet by 200 feet, which we are going to go into options really quick and change the interface to other units, US customary. Just for a moment, I don't know if I'll keep it that way, but I want to go, okay, now it's in yards. Not ideal, but yards. Okay, 200 yards, or 200 feet in yards would be, what, 3? I can do that in 66.7-ish, you know, like a third of that. So we're going to go 70 yards. That will be our street here. Then what we want to do, and that's probably the wrong spot, But let's go ahead and get this here. Or here, we can bring this out 70 yards and bring that down. So what I'm going to do then, get that there. Take this road out, and this one will come down like that. And then I'm just going to go out and build a grid, maybe four squares deep. This is great, actually. I like this. So then this spot, we could come in and go like that. And this can go 70 yards. Come all the way down there. So that's going to give us, what, 7 by 7? Actually, that's not bad, because then we could get an alley in the middle. I might do that for all of these. And then we'll come out 210 yards there. This should come 210. And we got to get this in here, 70 and 70. And then the alley, like having the alleys in there will make it easier too to make sure that we have the buildings pointed the right way, which I want them pointed towards this road. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and build an alley all the way across here, which unfortunately, actually I could do. This is the one unit as well. We'll do, although then, okay, what we're going to do is a pedestrian path, actually, which is going to be paved, but that's okay. We'll get it like that. I just want to break up that zoning until we get something in place. So that will go like that. And that's our initial city grid. Then we're going to have to figure out, okay, so of course when we're building a city, what are the things we need? We need power. So power, we will come over here. We have to make sure that we're working with the game mechanics as much as we need to. We'll just get a transformer station out here. And I'll go ahead and bring a road in here, and then we'll try and hide it as well. So we'll go like that, and then we'll get a transformer in here. And that might have connected right to it, but just in case, we'll come in here and make sure that we build this and connect to it. Okay, so now we've got power. Then we need water. Water we will get with a water tower, although the water tower is not going to look historic, so we'll also get a groundwater pumping station, and we'll hide that as much as we can too. Let's go ahead and put that in here. So we'll bring this along like this, and then we'll get a road in, and I don't know what the road will be like eventually, but we'll just connect it like that for now, and then we're going to hide it in trees. So for trees, what I'm doing, I have what is it, the tree controller mod, and you can probably see a list of my mods down in the description below. I haven't decided how I'm going to mark those or like show those off and stuff like that, but I'm going to come in and get a few different tree type things in here, and that will hide that a little bit, but I mean not great. Same thing here, some trees around here just to try to hide it. At the very least, and if we're down here, you can't see it, and that's the goal. Same thing, I mean, that you can't see anyway, but okay, so now we've got water, then we need to dump the sewage out. Sewage we will dump, see, water comes in there, I suppose it might be realistic to have a dirty river. So we can just dump it here, I guess. Yeah. We'll dump it here. It's going to be dirty. It's just the way it is. And we want to come in and connect that sewage line, and that should be operational then. So we've got sewer, we've got power. Well, the next thing we need is residential, commercial, and industrial. You always need to make sure you've got all three kinds of zoning. So what we're going to do is we're going to check our air pollution, and we are blowing that way, which is ideal for this. We also, it's not too strong of a wind, and in fact over here it's really weak So eventually we might have like a big industrial core over here, but for now, early in the history of the town, we are going to get a tiny bit of industry right in here. So what I want, and we can actually get some pretty big buildings there. That is going to work. So what we're going to do then, we will come in and we are going to make sure that we're on North American, and we're going to get business along here. And then residential is going to be back here. Am I on North American? Yeah, okay. It should have defaulted to North American because I selected North American for the default theme, but it doesn't seem like it did, so that's fine. We're going to go ahead and have deep industry there, and maybe even over on this side. In general, you would probably see it develop along the river anyway, so that's pretty much what we're doing. Hopefully, actually, you know what? We are using the historical start mod, so one thing we can do is we don't have to have dirty industry. We're going to get a bunch of timber. And I want to get the timber. I want to be up that way, but that means we're going to have to build a bridge. I don't think there would be a bridge across the river yet, so I guess we'll keep it out in here, and then we'll get farms over that way too. So that means that we're going to bring a road out this way. In fact, we'll bring this road straight out there, and this is going to curve down into this giant field, and that's going to be farmland. And then we're going to get some roads going out into the woods here. So now we can come in and we are going to do, we want to get more fertile land in there actually. So I do have the ability to do that thanks to mods. We want fertile land resource tool, big brush size. Just make all of this fertile land. Because I think pretty much like any open space would be fertile. You're going to get a lot of rain in this area, so it would be very easy to grow crops. But I do want to first get some logging. So forestry is going to be our first major industry. Come in here and get this. And we'll bring that all the way down to the road. Bring it out as far as we can, and then bring this back. Because we want this forestry industry to be a very, very major thing in this area. And we'll follow the road a bit. Come out here. And go like that. So that gets us forestry, and then we can get grain and other things out here. Okay, I think we're ready to unpause, so let's go ahead and do that. And it's going to take a while for people to get in here, because we're getting some industry demand, but that should come back down because we've got other stuff. And as soon as we have the actually we can come in here and do some of this already. What I want to do is food is going to be a fine thing. Convenience food, I guess we'll keep that. Furniture, grain, paper, timber, vegetables, vehicles, we don't want to build that. We don't want to build electronics. Don't want to build metals yet. Crude oil and ore, those are all fine plastics. We're going to crank that way up. Basically anything that is an industry that we don't want to have here yet, we are going to make sure, well, that should be fine. Minerals, concrete, machinery. Anyway, anything that we don't want to have, we're going to crank the taxes way up so that it is unlikely to be built here. Beverages should be fine. So that when we come in here and we do inevitably add some industry here, then we should be okay. But really, I think we've got low enough unemployment that those should be filling out just fine. And right now, I just want to make sure that we get to the next milestone. But this is pretty much going to be the main initial city. But the first milestone, I do want to get an elementary school, because we would see, as you heard at the beginning of the episode, we do have a school already. So I'm going to let time go by a little bit. Okay, and there we are. We reached the tiny village level. So what I want to do now is we will go ahead. Oh, we don't get that to a small village. Ah, man, I hate it when I do that. Like, I always think that we start at the first one, but then we don't. We get to there. So we are going to save the elementary school for the next episode. But in the meantime, I think we are in a pretty good spot. We can now see unemployment is super low. We are losing money, not too much at a time, but over time, I think pretty soon, I mean, we're going to see it develop more. But like I said, we'll save that for next time. I hope you like this. If you enjoyed the story, be sure to click down below to go to my Patreon, where I will be posting free short stories every week with some more lore. So anyway, thanks for watching. I will catch you next time. Take care.